All right. Hello and welcome. This is Mechalonk of RTA Japan and others' performances. I am here with our lovely host. You will be host.
Coffee, I'll be hosting, I'll be reading donations and doing all that fun stuff today.
Yeah. All right. So this is the Legend of Mana HD Remaster. I'll be playing it on Steam today because it's on so many platforms. Because I couldn't find my HDMI splitter's power cord. It's a rough time out here. All right, so there's a male-female choice. It doesn't matter in terms of game, so I'm going to pick female. We picked the hammer because it does the most damage. That seems kind of, like, oh, ha, ha, ha. But no, that's actually really important. We'll discuss that later. All right, so there was a naming incentive. What's the name?
The name, I believe, is Ziggy, but let's check real quick.
Mm-hmm.
And my system is being uncooperative.
As systems do.
Yeah.
Yeah. They still think you're quiet.
Oh, I will try to speak up a little.
I can turn her up if that's what you want. We can take you up to flat 0.
That would be perfect. It looks like... so it looks like our name today is indeed going to be Ziggy.
All right. Case. Capital Z. Spell this for me.
Z-I-G-G-Y, Ziggy for Ziggy Stardust.
All right. Is it lowercase, rest of it, or all caps?
It is, the first letter is capitalized and the rest is lowercase.
Okay. Ziggy. That is a name. All right. This is Ziggy's adventure through this world. You get to pick where you start. That's not a donation incentive because we want to start right here. It's important for reasons. We'll get into those. Time starts right now when I hit the button here. So 3, 2, 1, start.
Yes.
All right. All right. First thing we have to do is place our mailbox on Salamander Day. Yeah, I know how to place the mailbox. Thank you.
Just in case you forgot.
Yeah, just in case. Yeah. All right. And so we go into home and we get an intro cinematic, which we're going to skip because this is a speed run. And then we get a bit of text that we can't skip. So this is the plot of Legend of Mana. In short, this is a wane the power of mana time. Like the mana, nobody's pursuing the mana tree right now. Like for once. Like, unlike every single other mana game, right? Like, the mana tree is so unpursued that its influence is just gone, right? Like, people aren't seeking it, mana is weak, and therefore, people, right, like, lost their connection to desire to some degree, right? Like, people aren't thinking big, right? Like, aren't desiring big, right? So, I mean, it's a time of peace, right? But the entire plot of the game is actually maybe people need to desire a little more than they are.
Yeah, maybe we should wake up a sleepy world.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have a sleepy world. Exactly. And so that is what all 3 of the plot lines of this game do, but we're only doing one of them. This is Jumi %. So we'll be following the Jumi storyline. We're going to get a little hint on how to access saving, and then we are off. First thing we're going to do is go into skills. We're going to set jump to spin. We're going to set blammo, and we're going to head on out. We're not going to pick up that treasure chest because that takes time and we don't need the money. We're going to talk to the Sproutling. I did know that. I played the game a lot. So get some color blocks. And off we go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mike the Magician, that's correct. Right, so now it tells us how to interact with the artifact plate. Bing. Right. And so into the first town, Domino. We're going to meet one of the main characters of the Jumi plot, and then we're going to ditch him almost immediately. It's this guy. He's a jerk. We're gonna forget Elazul's name immediately, by the way. It's literally a plot point later, like somebody says, "Hey, Elazul," and you're like, "Who's Elazul?" We're following Elazul into this bar.
Okay.
All right. Now this is actually.
We're not gonna
This is the
remember.
reset point. We're not gonna remember this guy's name because he's a jerk. Right? He presses this girl, right? Like, and then you have to hit the second prompt for all of these, or else there's a time loss. Let's look for her. She doesn't give you the jade egg immediately unless you hit those 3 options. If you try to defend her too much, she's just not. So the jade egg smells like pearl, so... Alright, we got one of the artifacts we'll need. Great. But as much as we need that artifact, we do not need Elazul. We actually need this greedy capitalist rabbit. I'm not scared. Ain't scared of no bandits. Yeah. We won't get along. I agree. He's kind of a jerk. Niccolo's business unusual. All right, we're gonna go see Tipo. We haven't been introduced to where Tipo is, but like, hey, it's Elazul. Whatever that guy's name is. Over here. I knew there was something different. Take me with you. Refuse. Damn it. Kuso.
Denied.
Denied. All right, and so we won't see him for a bit. Okay, this is Tipo. It's a giant animate teapot. Magical teapot. So Niccolo is going to talk with Tipo and going to try and get Tipo to pay him $50,000 for a wheel. 50,000 lucre for a wheel. 50,000 lucre.
Apparently, this is quite a lucrative business, selling wheels.
All right, so we get to use the wheel instead, which is good because the wheel is an artifact. We're gonna walk through this hole in those, walk out, and oh, the lucre is filthy. Don't worry. All right, so that's great. We're gonna place the wheel off the plate. I'm gonna place it here. We're gonna walk into Luon Highway, and we're actually gonna start doing fighting. So unlike basically every other mana game, this is a side-scrolling beat-em-up, rather than an overhead ring system thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so first fight we're gonna spin. They're too close, I can hear it. Yep, thanks Niccolo for finishing that off. All right, so these little crystals are the experiences. After you level up, it takes 5 seconds for the combat scene to end, so you can basically... You can always get to the far side of the screen for faster, leaving. Often, right there, I get cut off, right? Like I'm trying to get all the way to the right, and I don't get the time to. All right. This is one of the hard ones to get the spin pattern right. One more hit. There we go.
There we go.
All right. And there's a crystal. I can see it. All right. But yeah, so the main tool I'd be using in non-boss combats is spin. Because this is a beat 'em up, you kind of have to be lined up. So just imagine that this is secretly Mayor Mike Hager, or Michelle Hager, if you will. Mm-hmm. And we're just spinning everything down. Thank you, Racco. Racco is another runner of this game. Has done it before at Speedrun Ragnarok, I believe. So...
Well, thank you for the good well wishes, for the good luck.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then we'll immediately get in a fight with a hornet and some more spin friends. Is it? Yeah, and we did race a while ago as well. Yep. So yeah, no, Racco and I know. All right, more seeds. We'll be selling most of those later, more than likely. All right.
Blammo.
Right, we're actually gonna use one of our STs here because killing these guys is kind of annoying. All right. There's a wind cap. We'll be selling that, but not the good way. All right. So this is the boss scene. Hey, these Chobin hoods want cash. Here's some candy. Yeah, Niccolo the capitalist hates that these guys are crazy for money.
Even Niccolo
Sure he
hates
does.
them.
Welcome to Mantis Ant. Looks a little different than the old days, but still Mantis Ant. Okay, so here you'll hear honking because I'm doing what's referred to as skill canceling. I'm hitting an unbound skill button, and it's like, oh, okay, right, like I need to reset so you can heavy swing again. Otherwise, heavy swings have a delay. All right, this is an ST by the enemy. They take 10 seconds while they're invincible. We hate it. Usually we'll counter ST, right? Because then our our delay on it doesn't cost us anything, right? So it's not a good thing to have an enemy ST, but we do get a little extra damage out of the back end of it. All right. Oh, we got 2 monies. Maybe we'll get poverty skip. All right. Okay, so here's a minor time save here is that there's a place where you need to be for every cutscene, right? So ideally you put yourself there. I don't have 3,000 lucre. Okay, that's a couple more text boxes. He just takes all your money and gives them to you instead. So if you don't have 300, right, like he just takes all your money and gives them to you instead. So technically it saves you money, but it doesn't really save you money. We need to have 300 lucre almost immediately. So like this doesn't save us anything. All right. Here's the map again. We are going to place the next place, Flame, and we're going to interact with the first Jumi quest. I missed the L button. So if you hold down the L1 button, it skips the placements. So we didn't know that was possible until much more recently. So those little cutscenes, we could skip them all and save time. And if I forget, then you get to see the cutscene there, and I lose a little time. So there you go. That's the Flame cutscene. All of the areas have one. The Flame of Hope. This is mostly running around and talking to people. I think it's only in the remakes, but I'm not 100%. I haven't tested it myself. Racco. But yeah, here's a break time. You can follow it on the screen, but in essence, this thing's got a parasite on it, and it won't let anybody remove any of its leaves to take it. So, insert comedy sequence here, where we run back and forth. And if you have anything you want to say, now is the time.
All right. Just want to go ahead and look and see if we have any donations. I didn't see any, but I'm going to check one more time. And meanwhile, we will talk a little bit about the RPG Valkyries, who are the hosts of the event today. RPG Valkyries are an inclusive group of female and femme-leaning speedrunners who all love and run RPGs. If you would like to join their Discord, please use the ! Discord for the link in chat. The Discord is open to all people and all genders.
All right. So here's a little cutscene where you see this temple. This area is very important in the fairy category. And so the game's kind of like going, hey, this place is important, right? But it's not really important to us. This is the only time we're going to interact with this place. All right. So now the Sproutling is panicking here. And it's because it's in pain, and it's asking a monk about pain, and the monk's like, just don't think, like, mind over matter, baby. And the Bubba's like, but it hurts!
I am on the Sproutling side.
Yeah, calm your soul and all worldly pains will vanish, but it hurts! Then meditate, the mind...
Undeniable logic there.
Yep, then meditate. Someone help me! Yeah. All right. And so now we go back to where we were before, where the Sproutling will again be interacting with a nun, but now be interacting with that guy we saw in the corridor. The flamey red-haired guy who's impatient. Oh, nun says, well, I'll help you. See here, Rubens. So this is Rubens. He makes a crystal gem noise off of his chest sometimes. That's meaningful. Sproutling runs away before they take care of the Popo bug because Rubens doesn't want to hurt anyone. And the nun replies, you can't protect anyone if you aren't willing to hurt others.
That is a great life lesson.
Yep. Right. Awful kind of bare knuckle for a nun, but sometimes the truths are hard.
Yeah, sometimes just gotta be upfront with it.
Yep. All right. Uh-oh, nun down! Nun down! Here we meet the small mouse detective. He's not so great, really. But he is a mouse. Mm-hmm. I twisted my ankle and the Sproutling bumped into me. He's steamed. He's searching for someone named Sandra, apparently. We're gonna leave them. I'm sure the nuns can take care of their own.
She'll be okay.
She'll be fine. Mind over matter.
It doesn't hurt if we don't think about it.
Yep. All right. Now this is Rubens and the nun interacting. The nun knows about Rubens' girlfriend. That's certainly unexpected. You don't care if the Sproutling dies or the girl sleeps forever. I don't want to interfere with anyone, and I don't want anyone to interfere with me. Just leave me alone. Nun. We hear the crystal flash twice. Jewels that lose their sparkle must be dealt with. Uh-oh. Whoa. I want you to cry like a baby and beg for your life.
Wow.
But I can't. That's just too bad. Goodbye, Ruby Knight. Ding! Still alive. The Jumi of the Lucinda are a tough bunch, and I'll be taking the Flame of Hope now. She said the name. It's the name of the quest. Mm-hmm. Thank you, RPG chick. Take those stupid sticks out of your hair. If you're the guy, says something about taking off the weird hat because you're wearing like a hood.
Yeah.
But like those are the only gender differences. It's just she's and he's. Diana, I wish I could see you again. Blarg!
Oh. But yeah,
Jumi down.
The two genders, sticks in the hair and wearing a hood.
Yep. I mean, like every main mana hero, the male hero is ripped, is absolutely shredded, and isn't wearing anything over his stomach. That's become the you have Durand from Trials and this guy and the hero for the new mana game. Mm-hmm. You have to tell your help. He'll search the temple and village. I search the outlying area. Great. All right. So off we go to the outlying area, but first, we want a better weapon. So we're going to buy a hammer, and we're going to sell a bunch of stuff to do it. Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to talk to this person, we're going to sell stuff, and we have no money, so we're going to try and keep the iron pot if we can. Good enough. There's an optimize command, so we can equip the iron pot. We learn counterattack, so we're going to equip it. Because you level up skills by going through battles with them. A battle with normal enemies is worth 1 experience point for a skill, and a battle with a boss is worth 4. Mm-hmm. So those leaves are supposed to mark the trail you're supposed to go. We're going to ignore them. So there's a faster way through. We're going to run by that guy and not trigger his combat. He's a big bag of HP. Don't love it. Mm-hmm. All right, we are going to have to fight these people, though. The guy is kind of a jerk in that he's off pattern. All right, we're still too close to these nerds. There we go.
There we go.
All right.
I can just see when you hit
down.
that sweet spot, and it must just feel so good.
Yeah, it's good. All right, and then suddenly we're through.
Yeah.
We follow the shortest path, which is not the path they put you on. Jerks.
What is game design?
All right. We'll be back here later. We will not be back up here later. All right, so we have chased her. She's going to relieve the Sproutling's pain. I'm sorry I play Magic. Ow! There's nowhere to run, Sandra. Oh no! She's hot! Legendary Jewel Thief. Female Legendary Jewel Thief is hot.
She's hot and she's evil and she's out of here.
Yeah, and she's out of here. There's a nest up here with a bird, a giant bird. Yeah, she hook shot it up to the bird and got out of here. This is no time to celebrate. But she did take the Popo Bug off the Sproutling, so it's happy. Sproutlings are agender. Ancient, so we get 2 more artifacts, and we want them. Yeah, exactly, Mike. All right, so that's Flame of Hope. First Jumi dead.
One Jumi down, so many more to go.
So many more to go. All right, so now... Oh, wait, we just re-enter Gato here, because we're going to place Broken Doll next. So, all right, so we played with Niccolo a bit before. Niccolo's got a different money-making scheme this time. You know, now that the highways reopen. Hey, Nick. Yeah, he's harvesting green balls. Let's go with him. That means we'll have to go through the caves again, unfortunately, right? Because we're trying to get back to the waterfall?
Yep.
Good news! It means that not at all! You go here and it says, would you like to skip? And you go, yes! And there you do, you're through. Waterfall. Alright, so if you stay on this screen forever, he will continue picking forever. You have to leave the screen and come back. So we do. Now we're waiting for roughly 4 cycles of picking, and we don't want to be standing on the log when he finishes. We want to be standing at just the right position, ideally, to talk to an NPC, one of the peers. It's not a given that you hit the position. Yeah, there it is. All right. We're picking green balls. I can see the fairy. Niccolo cannot see the fairy. And then it's gone. Thanks to the green ball bun. Thanks to the broken doll, which is what we actually wanted. And 500 lucre. We will be using that later. All right. Niccolo's business unusual too. That is the last time we have to interact with Nick, thankfully. We get to kind of like doing all Jumi stuff really quick in this route. All right. So we place the broken doll here. We get a junkyard of toys. We place the jade egg over. So here, if you have more than 2 artifacts on your plate, quests cannot give you 2 artifacts. They can only give you 1. So many times you'll see us kind of go down to 2 on purpose. Like here, for example, right? And then we're going to go to the junkyard, having placed those 3 and gone down to 2 artifacts on plate. Mike is correct, and Racco has said so, that yes, you just need to beat one of the 3 main plot arcs to get access to the mana tree and finish the game. And so that's why there's 3 categories to this game. The 3 shortest categories are called Fairy, Dragon, and Jumi for the 3 arcs. Right. Jumi is the longest of the 3. But I'm a hole filler, and in terms of the holes that you needed filled, you needed a, couple hours and change, and if you want that, Jumi is the place for you to be. So, all right, so we've run through the junkyard here. It's actually kind of a not a real like linear maze scenario, unfortunately. All right, we spin here, we wait for the other tadpole guy to come up into range, and then we just mess him up there. All right. Oh, I missed something. Whatever. All right, it's gone. Crystals and gems and such fade after time, right? Like, so if you're not going to get them, you can run to the other end of the screen and try and get a head start on progressing. Right, here's that moldy goo guy again.
Ooh.
Okay, it's a big bag of HP, so I'm just going to try and cancel through it. And I missed one. All right. Level up. All right, then here's the boss of this plat, and by boss I mean 4 random enemies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bing. These are all remnants of a war from like 100 years ago. All these toys and stuff that have been discarded. 2 baobab woods. Wow, that would be great in another category. All right. We get 2 artifacts. And then we meet Louis, and we're done.
Sweet. Very sweet.
If you got anything to say, we've got a couple of... a little bit of scut work, so to speak. here, placements and entering cowardly areas.
Yeah, I have a donation to read. We've got $10 from Rocco. Very, thank you very much. The comment is Dubba Bub Boo Boo Gak. So that was fun to read. Thank you for the interesting comment, which I'm sure is related to the game somehow.
It's related. We'll see the Dud Bears in this one.
Heck yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna go to Tower of the Ares and do what we refer to as the half princess skip, or the Lost Princess half skip, right? So we're gonna go in here. We're gonna see a cutscene, which we would see no matter what, right? Like, so this is just garbage time, right? We're shifting this cutscene from another part of the game to now, right? But the reason we do that is because it creates a fast travel point inside of the Mekiv Caverns that we'll be using almost immediately. So doing that, shifting that and entering and leaving, right, like saves us time in Mekiv, which is what we're about to do.
Okay.
Actually, I need to place 2 other items first because we need to get our plate clean. Right, so we place Tome of Magic here. Actually, we place everything now. Tome of Coral here, and then Medallion over here. Easy peasy. All right, now we go to Mekiv. All right, here's where we take a brief digression off of Hammer, and hopefully it happens quick. Our Hammer is only like 18 power. We're gonna upgrade to something that's hopefully like 31 power. But we're gonna need some enemy drops to cooperate. So here are our friends. Fingers crossed. Oh, we're too close. There we go. You can see that killing these things takes a bit, right?
Looks like they're a little squishy.
Yeah, they are a little tough. I mean, we'll get a level off of it, but we wanted a drop. Ideally, you get it first drop. I've been getting it second drop, or second fight, which is still a time save. Anything after the second fight is a time loss.
Gotcha. So it's now or never.
Right, it's now or never. Even Blammo didn't kill the one I hadn't touched.
Oh, bummer.
There's the drop.
Wait.
Got it on the second one.
Sweet.
We got a Blackout, which is the one-handed weapon. It's still better than what we're using, so we're going to use it anyway. It's still what we needed, right? So as long as you get the axe in the 2 fights, you're good. Oh, right, I needed to do skills there as well. Right, we learn the better counterattack, counter strike, and we'll be using that shortly. All right, now that we've gotten our axe upgrade just in time to have it be a time save, we're going to proceed. All right, this is a faster weapon. It's kind of one-handed sword class. It's not the fastest weapon type, but it's stronger than what we had. And why did I get my movement reversed? I didn't get confused there, buddy. But yeah, it's a faster weapon. You can see I'm actually moving faster as well. Right, like the lighter weapons are faster movement-wise. This is the case where we kind of get to punch above our weight in terms of getting a weapon that's both light and damaging.
That is a
big so
money.
We're hoping to see kicks out of this guy, because then we get to counter-strike him. All right, it uses an ST here, generally. This is going to be the Spike ST, which is fine. All right, it pushes you back sometimes, which is a pain. Just one more hit. Oh, second ST. That's a beating. Still going to use the Spike, though, which is the fastest ST, so I'm happy with that. Not happy with getting 2 ST, but if he uses the fastest one twice, it's better than the alternative.
Fair.
All right. A couple levels. We're going to stand over here, because this is where the cutscenes are going to start. Hey, it's Pearl. We haven't met her yet. But she's doing that gem ping thing. Elazul, is that you? Oh, we've heard that name before, right? No, we haven't. Who's Elazul?
Yeah, I didn't seem familiar.
We, in fact, just forgot his name. It's canon. Oh, no. You had better not be up to something. This is a friend of yours. Did she do anything to you? She was after your core, wasn't she? What's a core? The game hasn't really explained a damn thing to us yet about Jumi. See you around. Right. Aw, she's cute. She's blushing.
Listen.
Yeah, Burrow's a cutie. All right. She's going to give us some artifacts. Good deal. All right. Lost Princess. Great. All right. And now we're going to head to Tea Time of Danger, which is a non Jumi quest. This is the second to last of the quests that we do that aren't Jumi. After this, it's almost all Jumi except for a brief dalliance with fighting pumpkin mages. We'll explain that when we get to it. All right, so we're going through these ruins. The tale here is Duel, that teapot, got lost here, and we're helping his friend find him. Oh, sorry, Tipo got lost, and we're helping Duel find him. Great, tornado. Do I care? No, not really. Too close, too close. There we go. So in terms of speed, technically drops are faster than gems and coins because gems and coins split apart, right? But we do need experience, right? It's not nothing. Don't mini me. Marbles are a pile of status effects, just like they are in Final Fantasies.
Gotta love it.
All right, there's Tipo stuck behind gates. We have to play a gate puzzle. Thankfully, we're speedrunners, so we don't have to fumble with this. Assuming I remember everything correctly, all right? So we need to change the top gate from upper right to upper left, which means do the opposite with the flower keys. The flower keys represent closed gates, right? So we've closed the upper right and lower right, and so now we can proceed to where Tipo was, but Tipo isn't. Assuming that one in the middle doesn't mess with us. We'll be back to this lady later, but we have to go over here first. Great to see Lemur around. Lemur is the legendary best at this game, right? Like Lemur is the one to beat, classically. Very good at the game. All right, so we open the door to the south so we can get to another guy that will unlock the door to the boss. And then we head that way. All right, and so now that the door to the boss is open, we have to go and change the flower keys back around so we can get back to... Yeah, he is very good at fast combat and very good at... Oh, that's wrong. See, this is where you mess... No, we do... No, we're entering the top one. We need to change the bottom one. Dang it. I always mess that up because it's the closest one. No, okay. We need you here, and then we need you here. Come on. There we go. We are the keys to the gates. You can't... Like, these are just slow movement sequences. So, little time lost there and having a flower key move twice. But we're through all that nonsense now. And then when we talk to this girl, she'll be able to feel the telekinesis that one dude did, and we are on to the boss.
On our way.
All right. 3 fights here in a row. Just normal enemies.
And just want to take a moment and note that the charity this week is for Take This. Take This. All right, and I can find... And Take This is the mental health nonprofit, and their main mission is to inform the gaming community about mental health issues, provide education on different disorder and prevention techniques, and reduce the overall stigma around mental illness. All right, back to you.
All right. So here we found Tipo.
Oh,
lonely Tipo. Tipo remembers us. They got lost. I wonder why Duel hasn't gone. I'd give that bloke a good watering if I had the chance. Oh, BT dubs, there's a terrible blood-sucking bat here.
Oh no.
Bye.
Thanks for finding me. I'm out of here. I'm just gonna leave you to it.
Just gonna leave us to it. Count Dovula. Why? Because they want to eat doves. A magical creature and a filthy human. Only the blood of the peaceful dove will quench their thirst.
And now we're
This is heavy. This is just Hunk. We're doing, you know, honk canceling, and we're hoping that it doesn't decide to go into an ST.
Holding
It keeps trying to use magic. You see those little fields show up?
Yeah.
All right, no ST, great. The game has a magic system as well, but it's generally worse than weapons, so we don't interact with it. A few enemies do. A few bosses do. And so you'll see those little fields appear now and again, but hopefully we never see any of them resolve.
Yeah.
All right, quest complete. And then Dwell's like, hey, you had an adventure. Haha, let's go have a nice cup of tea. A couple will help me forget. And then on to the next adventure. No, thank you.
He was like, I'm done. I'm staying home from now on.
He was like, I'm so done. Tea time of danger completed. All right. All right. I would like to access this. We're gonna place down the stone eye just to have a place to walk through.
Yep. I gotta.
Oh, I missed the L1. Now you see the spooky rain. The stone eye represents the boss of this area, which is kind of a fairy witchy type deal. Wrong. It's not the rusty anchor. Go back. We need the firefly lamp. And we are going to correctly skip that one. All right. Yep. Didn't L1 get punished? It's new to me, all right? All right. So now we're in Lumina.
Want to donate? We're looking for donations, so definitely keep them coming.
Yep, keep them coming. All right. This is a character who has a couple of quests, but we're not going to interact with them. Gilbert and Monique. Gilbert seems to be a bit of a romantic of sorts. Seems to be.
They're just too big.
They're not they're not as romantic as you think. All right, so we're gonna go sell them for you. Often we use the money we get from selling this to buy stuff, because he doesn't care how much money we give him back. But that's not the case anymore in this category. But it's the case in many categories, but it's not the case in this one. So, all right. So these little cute guys are dud bears, but we're gonna have the bartender teach us how to teach bud bear. So pay attention. You got dub, dud, duba, duda, dubba, bubba, goo, da, ba, dada, duba, baba, baba, dada, gak, and bub. Got it?
I got it.
All right, great. And so the dud bear language does let you get through these prompts, but we've of course memorized them all. And then if you correctly answer 3 times, yeah, you can ask them to buy a lamp, and they will in fact just buy the lamp. Each of them buying them for 1,000 lucre. So you have a lot of money in this section, which is why I said like oftentimes we use this money to buy stuff. But this guy's like, you hate music, you hate me, you like me? Yeah, we're friends now.
I mean, that is the true essence of friendship.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom guy in the cavern is like, yeah, music's great, and you're like, yes. And so like, you're a friend, yes. Like, we're friends now, yes. And then to buy a lamp. They're just a yes person. The other two require a no or two. All right. Good news, Strawberry. We sold all your lamps, and here's where we're going to see that that Monique and Gilbert's lives do not match up. We're gonna see a little cutscene that's gonna kind of like see that the two of them do not see their futures in the same way. What? Yeah. Right, like. Yeah, she's a crafter, and he's like, no, your lamp business is just about making money, and then we'll make, we can make money and travel the world. Right, and she's like, no, like, I'm a crafter. I want to make things I love and sell them to people who love them.
Yeah, that's the.
And then he's like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna go look for new love, and off he goes.
It's over.
It's over. I mean, yay for communication at the end there, but you really misread this one, Gilbert.
Mm-hmm. He did not understand the crafting heart.
No, he did not. All right, so she's a little down after the breakup. Can't necessarily blame her. There is an implication that they're kind of like childhood sweethearts to some degree. Mm-hmm. But then the Dub Bear come back, and she understands Dub Bears, so they tell her all about the lamps and how they like them.
Aww.
And then they leave. And then she'll tell you the same. She'll give us the Trembling Spoon and the Sand Rose, which we need. We don't really need the Trembling Spoon, but we absolutely need the Sand Rose. All right, Spirit's Light. All right. All right, now there's only one more non-Jumi quest to go. First, we're going to place the Sand Rose. We're going to place it over here, past Mekiv. We're going to place the spoon. And now, in this game, the strength of a land is determined by how many lands you've placed and how far it is from home. And so we've done all of this land placement and side questing to get to place Rusty Anchor right here. Exactly as strong enough as it needs so that it will sell us the hammer that we're going to end the game on. So, off we go. This place is having a ghost problem. Ghost. I can help. I'm not scared of ghosts. Drown dreams. Thanks. All right, so this game gives you basically this quest gives you very little guidance as to what to do at the start. You have to talk to a specific person. We know who, so we're going that direction. But first, hammer. We need to sell. Let's sell the old iron hammer, and that'll be good. And we'll buy the gold hammer.
OP hammer.
All right, and we'll put Blammo back on, and we're good to go. It's not OP, but it is as strong as we're gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
It's technically possible to buy a stronger hammer, but we can't reasonably waste the time to try and set it up. So
it's OP for
all
us.
right. Yep, it's the best we're gonna get. All right, so first we have to talk to Thoma about the ghost ship, and then having done that, we go back to the hotel. Like this is just a runaround quest. There's no combat. You just have to hit all the quest triggers. All right, don't get fresh with me. I don't like beggars. Shoo shoo shoo. Yeah, this guy's a bit of a jerk too. Not only is he a jerk, he's a creep.
Combo.
Yep, he rents out the entire hall with the dancer, and the guys in charge say, you know that she hates that guy. He's like, yeah, but he's paying us 50,000 loot for the hall. Like, we're not getting any other business. What do you want me to do here? All right, so Inspector Boyd wants to know that you're thorough. So we're going to ask him 3 questions. We're going to ask about basketfish. We're going to ask about basketfish. And most importantly, we're going to ask about basketfish. Well, you sure are thorough. Now we can ask about him. About basketfish, exactly. Right. So the mermaid and the dancer both do not have blue eyes. We couldn't see the soldier's eyes, so we tell him to go after that because he doesn't know that answer either. But we have to go, we don't follow Boyd. We actually have to go over here. There you see Gilbert in the background. There's another quest for him here, and we are absolutely not interacting with him. These penguin pirates will tell the soldier that you underestimate the sea at your own risk. And they tell him that Basket Sea has a gem that lets him see under the water, see what happened in the water. So Thoma's gonna go and try and find Basketfish. Now we go all the way back to the hotel, and we actually go through it because he didn't find Basketfish himself. What a stupid name. Yeah, you're not wrong, Thoma. All right, and here Boyd meets Thoma.
Mm-hmm.
Thoma. Let's go. And now they head in to see Basketfish. Great. Let's go to Basketfish. Right. And if we don't accidentally go a different direction, because this has classic, 3D game, every direction changes every time you go into a room.
Yep.
So you're going west, and then you're going south, and then you... Right. It's called the Blue Eye. I must see that jewel. No. I want to see the blue eye, says Ravanchi. All right. Ravanchi doing good. All right, and now we see what happened to the ship. They're looking for the ultimate firearm.
Check for donations.
We see a different siren. Yeah, like this is not Monique. Her coloration was completely different.
All right, still no donations. Someone donate to give me something to read.
All right. And then we see that the inspector's gone. The ghost is here. The ghost takes the jewel. Boyd shows up. Wait. The Boyd was a fake. It was actually the jewel hunter. And then the jewel hunter stole the gem. That's another Jumi thing. We get the pirate's hook, which we won't use. But importantly, the big thing is that we got that hammer. Right? That's the important thing. All right. All right, so we're going over here because in the future we're going to need people in Geo to not be in places that make things difficult for us. And so we're going. This is one of the teachers in Geo, and we're going to lock her here for a moment, right? We're going to say we're going to put her in a quest here, right? You know, because the Legend of Mana event system is very complicated. But one of the ways you can manipulate it is by locking people into quests that they're a part of, and thereby denying that person the ability to move to start a different quest that they're relevant in, right? And so that's what we're doing to skip a Gilbert quest in Geo that's just a bunch of running around and being annoying. Don't get involved. All right. I didn't mean to talk to her again. You don't need to. But you definitely don't want to get involved because that puts you down this other stupid quest. All right, so now Cathinja is out of the way. And now we're going to see the watermark for the Jumi arc. The real Jumi arc quests, the ones that are like, you're really here. They have a little splash screen, and that's the kind of splash screen you're going to see for those. All right. I'm sorry.
She is just.
You try to stop her. You try to stop her. It fails, and so you follow her into the tower. All the way up the tower. All right. All right. And so this is going to be a bunch of running in combat. So I talked a little bit about the combat stuff, but now we'll have a lot of time to talk about it. So you'll see there I'm using a spin move, like the thing I call Mike Hagger move, right? And that helps you from having to line yourself up. Right, great. But also, you've seen me kind of like cause stuns, cause yellow stars, as well as get yellow stars. If you hit 5 enemies with the spin while they are too close, they will get yellow stars, but once you hit 5, you will get yellow stars as well. So ideally, you want to get them just at the range where they can be hit and take damage, but not so close that there are yellow stars involved. Right. And this is where, again, where like we bought a very powerful hammer, so like now our damage is very high, and we're able to, you know, to two-swing those babies. We're gonna blammo here because all these guys, that duck has enormous HP.
Nice.
Yeah. The level up made it so that it didn't even matter that I skipped the item at the end. Because the level up causes 5 seconds. But yeah, that's why we're using spin, is because it lets you distribute the power of your hammer widely, and it doesn't require you to line up with stuff. But you have to use it carefully, or else you will time walk yourself a little.
Yes.
Right. So that is spin. You saw Counter Strike and the Duink Strike. The Counter Strike, if an enemy attacks into it, does 8 times your normal heavy swing. That is a lot of damage.
Yes. Right?
So if you can get an enemy to attack into you multiple times, right, like you can really chew down their HP, right? And since hammers are some of the highest damage weapons, and when you level in hammer, you get more strength than other weapons, right? Like we are just kind of leaning into making Counter-Strike as powerful as possible to speed up our boss fights as much as possible, right? And so that's kind of the thing with the hammer route, right? Like you can take lighter weapons and move faster and do things, but the idea with the hammer is that, right, like if the RNG is with you, right, like you can kill things really fast if you're good at positioning your spins, and if the RNG is with you on counter strikes.
If you do everything just right,
I mean, it requires the enemies to play with you on the counter strikes, right? Like, because you know they can move around, right? Like, they can refuse to use a counter strikeable attack. See, ducks kept advancing on me while I was spinning them.
And those ducks just pick up so much damage.
They do. Yeah. Captain Duck knows how to party. Always has, always will. Dang it. I thought I had you. All right. Great deal. Moving on.
I like what Rocco in chat said. He said, just play perfectly and get perfect RNG. It's simple.
Well, when you're a speedrunner, that is kind of what it's about, right?
It really is.
Right? Like, it's like, okay, I want to get the world record. What's it going to take? Well, you need to play well and get lucky. Like, that's what world records are made of. Yeah, you play well to put yourself in a position where the luck can give it to you, right? Like you gotta meet
the luck in the middle.
Right. But yeah, like you're making the possibility for the luck to pay you off, right? Like if you run the rest of the run slowly and you get the luck, like, it's not enough, right? Like, it'll help you, but if you want to get the world record, you kind of need both, especially with a competitor as strong as Limmer. All right, so at the near top of the tower, we need to there's a jump down there that we'll be using in a moment, but not now. All right, we talk to the door, and then Elazul tries to interfere. And then he says, you want to go in with me? And we say no, and then he runs off, looking for somebody that's smart. He should go find someone who is smart enough. What does that mean? I don't know. But we head in anyway. That just saves us text boxes in here. And he also doesn't interfere in the fight, because NPCs can interfere in fights in ways that make your tactics not as optimal. Welcome. Meet the machine gun centaur. Hopefully we won't see the machine gun. Let's find out.
That is an interesting boss design.
All right. This is it using a technique. Okay, it's just using that one. We will counter ST like this.
Wow.
Second ST, this is very bad. And we can't counter ST this time. It's the fast one, thankfully. We'll always take those. Dang it. Not getting the counter strike off. Third ST. Bad. Thankfully, it's the fast one. Fourth ST immediately?
Yeah.
Machine gun feet! Alright. So you got to see that at least, so be thankful of that. There we go. Alright. Annoying in terms of a speed run, but he's gone now. We don't need to think about it. Alright.
That was enough STs, no more.
Yeah, no more. Let's keep that number lower. Alright, Elazul just shows up anyway, but... So Elazul and Pearl have a little talk.
I mean, who is this again? I'm not sure.
Yeah. We also saw another person here that turned into the boss, and Pearl interacting with her. Pearl seems to have lost her memories, and she's like begging Elazul to let her try and recover her memories. And then Elazul's like, fine, like, you take her to the bottom of the tower, and if she dies, I'm going to kill you. Like, anything happens to her, I'm going to kill you. Get it? Yeah, I'm not really worried about you, Elazul, but thanks. Like, she blushes again because she's a cutie. All right, and now we're gonna jump down. We're gonna jump down 6 floors, and Pearl's gonna be fine with it because we're all cartoon characters. You'll see us land with a squish. See, boing,
boing,
boing. All right, we're good. All right, so we're headed back down the tower. This will be the first elevator again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can beat Elazul. In the longer categories, you have like a super weapon at this point, so it's really easy to say that you would take Elazul. Our weapon here is better than his for sure, but all right. So we're back at the 3rd floor, right? So we're just gonna continue heading down to the bottom. All right, so we'll come at this from the opposite direction. Okay. Thanks for lining up there, buddy. Geez, if I cared about equipping stuff, I've got something for every slot now. We got drop some enemies that it's not worth going to equip. Your defense numbers just don't matter enough for it to matter. So, like, if there's not a time you're going in and optimizing because you've got a new weapon, you don't go into the equip menu. So, we got a bunch of stuff and we're not going to use it.
All right, I'm just going to take a moment and say just a quick reminder. Donations today get you an entry in for the day's prizes. And you can view the prizes in the prize document if someone will drop that in chat. And then basically donating also gets you an entry in the grand prizes for the event. So there's some perks for donating.
Yep. Donate early, donate often. All right. Now we're at the bottom of the tower. So surely we can walk out. This boss music doesn't mean anything, right? Wait.
I don't know.
No, it's from the Jewel Hunter. Hey, Sandra. I've come to take your core. Clods who lose their sparkle must be punished. Welcome to Jewel Beasts. We're going to be fighting 5 of these, or 7 of these, but there's only really 4 different ones.
Jewel Beast, my favorite Pokemon.
Not close enough. Yes, they walked into it. Woo!
Nice.
Thankfully, Pearl doesn't do anything in combat, so she never messes with your stuff. And we're done. All right. Okay, that's that's Jewel Beast 1 of 1. All right, we're supposed to be about there when this cutscene takes over. Yeah, a little more south. All right. Why do you hunt us? You're awful. Just listen to your core. We'll meet again. Good night, Pearl. Whee! Here, Pearl has a little bit of a jealousy problem. If he finds another garden, then I'll be alone. I hope he never finds one. Like, all right, she gives us the frozen heart, which is certainly not on point at all.
Perfectly named or anything.
All right, we're going to place the frozen heart. And that'll be our 3rd to last placement. Good deal. All right. We done Emma. We go home. This is... The Jumi quest requires that you go home at some points to advance its plot. It's not really clear why. And it's the only one of the 3 quests that acts that way. So that was just... We need to advance Jumi. And now we're going to do the 2nd of the major Jumi quests. After we go pick up Elazul. Alright, so we go over here. Elazul's hiding in the corner. You're looking for a friend. I'll look with you. Come on, let's go. Ping! Bam! You, Elazul! Yeah. Yeah. It's dangerous here, too. Come stay at my place. Smooth work from Ziggy. It's like, yeah, just come over to my place.
Good work, Ziggy.
Ding! Good work, Ziggy. Super smooth. All right. We're breaking up Elazul and Pearl here so that we can get with Pearl, right? Like, it's just obvious. That's not actually what's happening. That's not actually what's happening, but she is a cutie. That's not actually what's happening here, but that's what Pearl kind of pseudo fears a little. All right. So now we're here. We don't have to interact with Gilbert here because Cathinja is gone because Gilbert tries to hook up with Cathinja, a half basilisk, and gets what's coming to him there. Instead, we get to do this. Like, Gilbert tries to get all the students to go back to school because they're striking, basically. And they have you do it, and then he's like, all right, now you can date me. And Cathinja's like, no, now I can go back to teaching. And Gilbert's like, no, seriously, you want to date me? And she's like, no, I'm going to turn you to stone, you little shit. So, yeah. But we don't want to take all that time here.
I do not like Gilbert.
Gilbert's not good. But, like, Gilbert, I mean, his communication, like I said, like, he seems like a romantic, but he's not really a romantic in the way that would be appealing to women. He's romantic in the way that he appeals to himself, right?
Yes.
Like he eventually comes around and realizes A, that like he has a fickle heart, and B, that he really misses Monique. But like there's a whole bunch of quests in the middle. All right, so there's a bunch of day management here, right? Like, so we started on Aura Day. We slept in the cafe. So now it's Gnome Day. All right, which is one of the days we can go to the library and meet Esmeralda. So Geo is all about days and managing people positions. And so you're going to see that in this quest and one other. And that's, again, why we locked Cathinja out, because usually Cathinja's teaching class right now. So not only, right, like if Gilbert's thing were resolved, right? So like she would be there, right? Like, but instead she's in Gilbert's thing, right? Like, and so she's not there at all, right? But neither is Esmeralda, right? So yeah, like it just doesn't work unless you get Cathinja out of the way, because Gilbert wants to make out with her. So you get Cathinja out of the way, and then it makes that interaction with Esmeralda easier, because A, there's no students in the classroom. They're still on strike. And B, the teacher isn't there either, right? So great.
So
all right, so now we have to catch her.
Drop out.
Yeah, and so now we need to advance 2 days, because we need to get back to a class day for Esmeralda. Right, so we're going to end up on Jin Day, which is not a day we want. Jin Day is her free day, but we can't interact with her on Jin. So we, again, take another nap at the Denny's. We stay again, and then we are on Dryad Day. Dryad Day is a day that the principal teaches on Dryad Day, I think. Is it the principal? Well, anyway, the principal is out of their office right now, which is good, because we're going to want that to be true. Huh. The mummy lady's not here today. Last couple times I've done this. All right, so she's in class. She wants us to come back on a Gnome Day. We will come back on a Gnome Day by advancing time one more step. I will stay.
Tipo.
I will. Tipo. It's another Tipo. Not only are they magical, like teapots, they're actually like a set of magical constructs. There are multiple of that type of being out in the world. We don't actually know that one's name. I'm going to call them Carl, because their cafe is named Sorry Carl. But nonetheless, all right. All right. Esmeralda's going to explain how she got here. We get the name Florina and the Jumi City. So she ran from the Jumi City to learn magic. Elizabeth, you already have a guardian. Mr. Nunziak says that's 2 timing. Knights and guardians aren't lovers. The savior of one guardian is enough to worry about. With exotic hair pipes like that, she can't fail. All right, so we ditch Elazul. We take Esmeralda. Where do we look? They are close. So now you're supposed to search the whole city for Esmeralda's sister's cores, but we're speedrunners, so we know where they all are. First one's in the principal's office, and the principal isn't here. Dryad Day, the principal's out, which is great. Found it. Does this make me a thief? Thief! Haha. Yeah, she's much less straight-laced than either of the two.
Yeah.
She jokes around a lot more. Exotic hair pipes. All right. Strangely enough, there is not one in the jewelry shop, but we do have to go into it. Don't run inside the store. This is Alex, the jewel seller. You should get back there. If you think it's dangerous, then protect me. Yeah, the Jumi, who are made of crystal, or who are made of gems, think that this place is just a morgue.
Oh my gosh. That's, I can't really argue with that.
That's a little messed up.
Yeah,
a little messed up. Right, okay, and so here we go behind the counter. How you're supposed to figure that out is beyond me. But you have to go behind the counter here to get this conversation. Right. Then you go up front. You advance days here because it's actually kind of the fastest way to get out. It also sets you up for later. But yeah, anyway. All right, it's Salamander Day. The next one is in the basement here, but we have to talk to Christy first. We're forced into this. Esmeralda's like, have you seen one of these? And she's like, ask her assistant, have you seen one of these? And he's like, I saw one in the solar room round below. Sotheby talks like the little girl in Trials. Charlotte, yes. All right, so we meet Diana here, which was Ruben's girlfriend, who Rubens and Sandra thought was in stone, but is not in stone at the moment. Don't ask me why. Like,
What's...
Like, he's like, hot.
Because the plot says so.
Yeah, because the plot says so. Because, yeah, Rubens is like, you heal your petrified girlfriend, right? And it's like, this is his petrified girlfriend, except she's not petrified.
She's very mobile.
She's mobile enough. Like, she's still kind of got like a statue look, but she's mobile enough, right? She's definitely not petrified. All right. It is Mr. Fuddy Duddy, as he's referred to otherwise in the game. Sotheby is referred to as Mr. Fuddy Duddy. All right. Now we're going to go back to the cafe because Esmeralda's sister sense is tingling. And if you haven't had the interaction with the cafe before, right, like, you can't do this. But if you have, she does, in fact, find the emerald here based on her sister sense. And, like, the teapot is mad, and you tell them violence is wrong because you're a hypocrite. And
We solve everything by hitting with a hammer.
Yes, this giant hammer is just for show. All right, so she drops the giant story, right? Like on the teapot, that she was like, "I'd give you my tears," right? Like, Jumi, tears are shards of life. We don't know how to cry anymore, right? So they let you take the emerald, which is her sister. Uh-oh, me water! Too much crying. And then Sandra shows up, and we hear Sandra's music. The lucky clover is whole again. Card. Esmeralda grabs the card, and so no matter what you tell her, she splits up. Like, if you tell her to stay here, she splits up anyway, because the best thing to do when you're hunted by a jewel hunter is to split the party.
Yeah.
So you follow her, and immediately Boyd shows up and is like, Esmeralda's not here, the jewel hunter must have lured her out. You can go and get Elazul at this point, but that takes time. So we're not doing it.
He's a jerk face anyway.
Yeah. He's kind of a jerk. All right, so you head back to Diana. Right, you head into the basement. Right, like, and then Esmeralda. Like, Diana called the jewel hunter to kill her, right? Like, but it seems the jewel hunter has picked a different target. If you say, I'll try, it's not good enough. You have to answer no matter what to enter the boss fight here. All right. And so, hey, look, it's Jewel Beast 2 of 2. I need you to... Damn it. It's just not attacking.
Yeah, it's just bouncing around.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we wanted to see. That's what we want to see. One more time, buddy.
Come on.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Not the greatest, but it was a 3 Counter-Strike, no ST fight, so quite good.
We'll take it.
All right. We will take it. All right. We get the level ups, 2 of them, and then we get screen. We run in here, and again, it appears that she's trying to induce her to cry tears, and...
Oh, no.
And then she ganks Esmeralda. And probably your sisters as well. Yeah, and like but I was ready, right? So she gives you some steel, as a promise that, when you come back, she'll be ready for you. And then Pearl's being cute at home. And that's Lucky Clover. All right. This time we have to enter home, but it's because Elazul is hanging out there for some reason. Then Elazul will ask if we've seen Pearl, and I'll lie. Let's find her. Because, yeah, you have to lie to get that to progress. Even though you literally came home and found her. So yes, I have seen Pearl, but if you don't lie. So here we get a new type of little cutscene. After both of these cutscenes, you get shoved back into the land you just left. So you're going to see the card telling us to go to Mekiv Caverns. And then you're going to see it go right back into home instead of letting us go to Mekiv Caverns.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have a choice. It forces this. And the Japanese speedrunners are where I found out that that's only the case on the English and the remaster. The remaster is the same across all regions. So, like, now the Japanese runners are dealing with that garbage. All right. So we are going to go to the snowfields because we need to do a few things. First, the desert is now currently active in a quest. We need that to not be true for reasons, right? Additionally, we want the principal to not be in their office. This is the principal, right? So now we have started the principal's quest, locked him in the snowfields, and let Cathinja loose, right? So now the desert is free, right? Like, both of those are relevant to what we're going to be doing later. For now, though, let's go get Pearl. All right. So there's a duck hiding in the boink here. If you talk to the duck, it takes a little bit, so you try to avoid that. The ducks are kind of a cool character, right? Like, as far as pets go, but all right. And then we're going through here. Our weapons are better this time.
But it should go much faster.
Yes. Drops an item, which is fast. Then you just spin this guy out, because spin goes through walls. Very convenient. We got another black elk, which we don't need. All right, we have to talk to this guy. We've never met it. He seems like he likes stones. Where's Pearl? I'm aware of that! I'm Batman, or Elazul. My core's never clouded so much before. Whatever that means. All right, a couple more fights. Threw a skull at me. It's rude. No, Elazul, you do not want to throw that guy. That moved him farther away from where he needed to go. Yeah, Elazul always has some random movement tech equipped, and it almost always screws with your ability to fight enemies. All right, here's a cutscene. You can go through all 3 storylines in one playthrough. There are categories that do not only that, but all the events in one playthrough. Mike the Magician is asking in chat. Otherwise, this is it's a good cutscene. Do I look like the sort of woman that would listen to you is a great line from Sandra here. Just like Elazul's like, give Pearl back. And do I look like the kind of woman that would listen to you?
Exactly.
Right, like, and now, again, she tries to induce Pearl to cry to save Elazul. And then weird fish-tailed guy that looks kind of like he's in a butler suit says, hey, no need for violence. And Sandra's like, oh, I really love violence. Both your cores are now mine. I don't need the power to heal. Just give me the power to fight, says Pearl. And...
I need to throw it down.
Oh, she gets the power to fight, all right.
Oh, wow.
and even Sandra knows who this is. Do you really want to do battle with me, Sandra? No, nope. 1,000 nopes. That's right. Here. Black Pearl uses a hammer because she knows what's up. This is Julebee's 3 of 7. Julebee's 3 of 7. She also gets in the way, but also so she does actual legitimate damage. So
I've never played through all of Legend of Mana or seen a full playthrough before. I mean, this is still a rough playthrough.
Black Pearl finishes it off.
All the plot twist.
Right. So Black Pearl's synchro when she's near you is to fill up your ST bar. So in casual playthrough, you just get to ST constantly through this boss. Right, which is a real powerful feeling. Right? Like, just synchroing with her feels like absolute monster time. Like, you're just the most powerful thing in the world. It's really Black Pearl's the most powerful thing in the world. She uses a hammer and she's good with it. Alright, so Elazul's still hurt. Black Pearl's just like, yeah, fuck that guy, see ya. There's my one. And so you go over here and this guy, the Lord of Jewels, as Sandra referred to him, teleports him back to your bed. Elazul, It's my bed.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. All right, that's Cosmo. All right. All right. All right. So in that scene, there's usually two small children that will talk about why you can't just give Elazul a potion because he's a Jumi. But that doesn't happen because we haven't done the quest that puts them in our home yet. We delay doing that quest until, and we delay starting that quest until now. So you go up and down here 6 times. That's 1, 2, 3. And on the 6th time, we'll just leave because Elazul is left as well. 4, 5, and we're out of here. And Elazul will leave we'll be gone if we go back upstairs. All right, but now the pelican male woman is here. She's a female pelican. She's very sassy. She tells the boys to look out for her bang. If you talk to her, she knows what's up. She's down with her fine self. All right. So Elazul left to go after Pearl. Yeah, the anime covers this storyline too. So if you want another presentation of it, you could watch the anime that came out a couple years back.
Cool.
It's very cool. Right, they announced it kind of after the HD remaster was announced, right? So it kind of was like, a year of holy crud. Like Mana's actually getting, like Legend of Mana's actually getting like a glow up. Right, that was a very exciting year. That was a very exciting year for us. We did not expect Legend of Mana to get picked up as a remaster, and then the anime right after it.
Yeah, Legend of Mana has kind of like always been the forgotten game that no one talks about.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It's not a traditional Mana game, right? Like as a brawler, right? Like it has a lot of complicating plot elements that could turn people off, right? Like the getting through all of the plots in one run takes a lot. Yeah, this happened a couple years back when this was first released, right? It was they'd done Saga Frontier as a remaster, right? And so like they were just entering, they're kind of like remastering the PSX era stuff, right? And we were like, okay, what's gonna be next, right? Like, we're gonna get FFT, or are you gonna get like whatever? And it was like, and then their spoiler video is part of the Jumi plot at the end, right? Like they're the only words the character says directly, like on their own, in the entire game. Are the words they use to reintroduce Legend of Mana coming back, and even talking about it gives me chills, right? Like it was a moment, and everybody who knew. It was just like, what? No way.
That must have been so exciting.
It was quite a time for all of us. Hit the duck. Thank you. All right, moving on. Yeah, their Secret of Mana remake stuff didn't go as well. The Trials remake hit pretty well. And then the HD remaster of Legend of Mana obviously is this. Yep. They haven't tried to do a remaster of Dawn. Nobody really liked Dawn either. It was the next mainline game, right? Like it was a 3D. It was like Trials, but made by a much less experienced company.
Yeah.
And it didn't really. And yeah, right, like, and then we recently got a new Mana game this year, right, which was big, right, like, which I like. It actually parallels Jumi's storyline, or the Legend of Mana storylines, in an incredible way. And now that it's been out long enough, I can actually write that article. Yes. Cause, right, like, I'm not gonna spoil, the latest Mana game for you. Go play it. It's if you love Mana, the game, you'll like the game. If you don't love Mana, it's kind of a mid-range. Like a friend of mine said, like back on the PSX era, like we got a bunch of like mid-range RPGs every year. Yeah. Right. Like we just got like 12, 14 RPGs every year, and like a bunch of them were just mid. Right. Like it's at least that, right? Like it's at least just one of those work-a-day 7 out of 10 RPGs that we got back in the PSX era.
It really feels like the type of game they don't make anymore. That's how I felt about it.
And like I said, like the plot of it actually really really builds on the 4 plot concepts of Legend of Mana. Legend of Mana has the 3 main plot lines and then the overarching concept. Right, and each of them expresses a different way that life and mana can be expressed through you as a person and as someone who interacts with society. The Dragon Quest is all about the bonds of society in general, like the bonds of like you to your neighbor, you to another, and the enemy there has no bonds, right? Like they are a pure, imperialist conqueror monster, right? And so like, right, like the thing there is that no, like the bonds of life, of brotherhood, of sisterhood, of whatever are what matter, right? The fairy arc is about choice between star-crossed lovers. Right, like it's two star-crossed lovers who, one was a demon, one is the head of the monks back in Gato, right? Like they have lives, right? Like they have future lives, but as teens, right? Like they were star-crossed, right? Like they were like, she was like, I don't want this, right? And so like the demon says, okay, if I take your powers from you, you can't, then you won't have to suffer through this, right? And so she aged in 5 years. She aged, 40 years, 50 years. Like she is old now. Right, and the demon is strong, right? And so the demon comes back as an adult, right? Like because they spend time in fairyland, right? Like, and so like the demon is like, meets the star-crossed lover, but is also kind of like, I'm in charge of a bunch of bloodthirsty fairies, and I'm going to destroy the world that was not willing to accept you, right? Like was not willing to let you be free and let me be free. Like I'm going to burn it all down, right? Right, and so like again, like the lesson there kind of like is a lesson of freedom, right? Like is that essentially, right? Like the best way to live is a level of freedom where, right, like if somebody does something bad, you stop them,
yeah,
right? Like with force if necessary, and you try and make people not do bad if you can help it, right? Yeah, 11 drops. We make jokes in this game about each category has weapon drops, right? Like that speed them up. Right, like Levantine, Brave Blade, whatever. Jumi often goes through a lot of the enemies. Here's a case where you fight Black Curl, but because Black Curl uses a normal weapon, she's vulnerable to counter strikes. Okay, that ST is basically a given. Avoiding that ST is very hard. But if we can get in a third counter strike, if she chooses not to block, but instead to attack, and then Elazul pushes her back, so she can't attack me. Elazul, stop interfering with the fight.
Elazul,
thank you.
You're not helping.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, you use Counter-Strike to help take her down. But yeah, and so like in the end, right, like they meet in the underworld, right? Like, and she is now, right, like one of the, the 7 wisdoms of the world, right? Like she's like, we can be whatever we want. We can be free here. And the demon is like, argues against her the entire time, is like, I'm not free because of this. I'm not free because of this, right? Like, and then he's like, finally, like, I think I'll break you if I embrace you. And she's like, I'm non-corporeal now, buddy. Man up. And then he's like, nope, I'm still trapped, right? Like I'm trapped by you, and he leaves, right? Like, and so like the star-crossed lover theme hits it's very dramatic, and I appreciate it more as I grow older, right? But yeah, like, and then this one, right, like is, we have this Jumi race, right? Like where one of them is kind of like, defending the race conceptually, right? And then one of them is like, the race deserves to die for what it has done, to the Jumi that can cry, right? One Jumi can cry for every 100 years. You've drained this woman to the last, right? Like you are monsters, and the race deserves to die, right? That's where Sandra's coming from.
Yeah.
Right.
Just a little bit of hate there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's, and those are two kind of very kind of like understandable, like real world urges, right? Like it's kind of like, right, like you're participating in a broken situation is kind of milk with toast middle people, right? No, right, like not okay, right? Like you are just as complicit. You are just as complicit as the people who are actively doing it, right? And then you have the people that are trying to defend the race, like Black Pearl and Elazul, right? Although Elazul is a little more personally focused because the story seems to be that he's a late Jumi. He never spent time in the city. Right, like in the Jeweled City, right? Like, so like he's kind of a new-ish Jumi, or a Jumi that was never part of that society, but he does want to have a guardian, right? Like and that's Pearl, right? That was Diddle. That's the only time you get to hear him. It's a shame because Diddle's an awesome character. He's just a cool tadpole guy.
Aww.
He's just a cool tadpole guy that plays music and is very shy. All right, these are the pumpkins that I mentioned with the small children. So this is the last non-Jumi quest we have to do. So we have to beat up these children.
Fight the children.
You have to fight the children because they're part of the ending for Jumi arc. They have to exist, or you can't do the last part of Jumi arc. So they have to be in your house. So. And there we see the magic again. The little sorcerers have magic. Who would have thunk it?
Once again, the proof
wait, she actually succeeded.
The
Yeah, she succeeded on a cast there, but it was random circle, so we were fine. All right, Bud is down and Lisa's down. In Japanese, Lisa's name is Corona, so this is literally a beer pair joke. It's Bud and Corona.
Nice.
You can be my apprentice. In English, they made it Bud and Lisa, which is, you know, still a reasonable pairing. All right, that's Little Sorcerers. All right, now we can actually do the thing. We're forced to re-enter again because this is the card sequence the second time. The Jewel Thief wants someone, and they're in Geno. But Elazul was going to Geo. Uh-oh. Is she going to try and hit Elazul? Right. And then the game forces you back into the land you were in. Yeah, exactly. Married with Children reference. Right. No, that is Bud and Kelly. No, you're right. I don't know what I'm thinking of, but for some reason, Bud and Lisa seems fine to me. Maybe I just play enough Legend of Mana. All right. And so we leave Dominia again, and then we head over to Geo because that's where the card told us to go. And now we are taking advantage of the fact that we're on Salamander Day to have everybody in the right place. And we've made sure that it's Salamander Day, so normally the principal would be in his office. But we have moved the principal out of his office by putting them in the snowfields, right? So now everything is free and clear for us to get all the things we need here. Hi, Christy. You don't have to talk to her yet. All right, so here's Diana, and now she's stoned.
Uh-oh.
Like, yeah, it's very confusing. Why Flame of Hope is framed that way? Because you can't do the Flame of Hope after this, right? So you ask Christy, what's up? And then Sotheby says something, and Pro's like, that's not right. She's a Jumi, madam. What, her? We need to find the keys of her heart. Right, so we're looking for the keys of Diana's heart as part of her ritual. Right, and so the first key we're going to find is slightly difficult to get to, and if we accidentally go into the patio, we'll get a cutscene we don't want to see. So we are careful around that to make sure. Here's a key. It's the key of pride. It is one part of Diana's heart. And she gets 2 pings because there are 2 more keys. Great. So now we're going to go to the principal's office and get the second key. These keys are named after things that are... Diana's got some bad emotions. She's got some emotions that she's clearly not dealing with, and these keys more or less tell us that. Right, so the principal's not in his office, so he doesn't get in the way of us grabbing this key. This is the key of hate. It is a part of Diana's heart.
Interesting.
Right, so... Right. And then, all right, the last one is in the music shop, which we have actually never gone in before, but we're going to go in now. They sell weapons and musical items, and musical instruments, which are the magic things. But all we need is this key. So give me the key, you little wiener. There we go. All right. This is the key of pain. It is only one of piece of Diana's heart. That's the last one. Hate, pain. Yeah, she's not in a good place. Given that she literally told the Jewel Seeker to come kill her and take her heart so that the Jumi race would be done with. Like, she is definitely depressed, and it's a shame we can't help her in any real way. Because Sandra may be interested in retributive justice, but she is not interested in healing the people directly responsible for keeping this system that drained her guardian's life to the last drop, or to nearly the last drop. She wants revenge against the Jumi. This is where the game explains what I just explained to you. Jumi are known as friendly. They cried for the wounded. Teardrop crystals. But when the age of widespread Jumi hunting ended, the Jumi changed, cut themselves off in the world, right? Like, and only cried tears to preserve their own race, right? Like, and only one Jumi could ever cry at a time. Florina must be still alive. You must bring her immediately. The generation of tears, right? Like, And Sandra's like, the Diana Diamond is the queen, and it's like, yeah, no, bring Florian here. She can help the next generation of Jumi. And Sandra's like, F that. Like, how would you feel if we used you for tears? Right. Right, and then Diana tells us to find Black Pearl, and then Diana has been ganked.
So many dead Jumi.
Yep. All of the Jumi we interact with have pun names, or not very punny names. Like Elazul is Lapis Lazuli gem. Mm-hmm. Elazul. Pearl is literally a pearl. Black Pearl is literally a black pearl. Esmeralda is an emerald. Rubens is a ruby. Mm-hmm. Like, the game's not subtle that every Jumi seems to have a name based on their gem. Right, and now he's doing kind of like, I shouldn't have got you involved, right? Like, this Jumi tragedy, I shouldn't have gotten you involved. And then, right, like, whatever. Right, like, as Elazul for some reason thinks this is all his fault because he's, that sort of goof. Mm-hmm. All right, straight back into Geo, because there's the next Jumi quest is right here. Okay, so remember that I got Kathinja out of the desert? That's important because we need the desert here. We need it in dreams. So the dream desert has the same lock as the non-dream desert. So if Kathinja is in the desert, we can't put another quest there. And Fluorite requires that you use the desert. So here we meet the previously mentioned Clarius, Fluorite, Florina, the Jumi of Fluorite. Alex keeps her here to protect her from the Jewel Hunter. But this is the one who can cry. Mm-hmm. And then Belle the Witch shows up, and we'll see Belle later. Belle rides on a tapir, right? Like, which is a classic dream eater, right? Like, it looks like an elephant. It's in a Japanese mythology, right? Like, it's a bakemono that eats dreams. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Anyway, enough about Belle, right? Like, I was brought here to help out Florina's dreams. And so they're going to send me to a dream version of the desert. Which is, again, we needed the desert free to do this, right? Here's Niccolo again. This is the last time we're going to interact with him. And this is the last quest we're going to interact with him, because we're going to interact with him 5 times in this quest. All right, here's Basketfish being a complete creep.
Some things never change.
Yeah, here's Basketfish being a creep, and if you talk to her, she's like, I hate fish, I hate gills, I hate you. Here's Little Cactus. We're not going to talk to him, but we could here. And he'll tell you about how the desert is the home of his soul. And then Niccolo takes us here, and we see a cutscene between Black Pearl, right, like the defender of the Jumi race, right, and Elazul, who is a much newer Jumi, who hasn't been complicit in all of the Florina stuff, but wants to protect Pearl. And so now we see somewhat of a philosophical argument. Like, the big argument is between Black Pearl and Sandra, right? Like, but Elazul, right, like, has a place in this argument as well. Because, like, Pearl and him are the ones trying to live in this world, right? All right, so we pay some more money to get teleported. This dog is the Dud Bear's supposed deity. He gets kidnapped normally, but we're not going to interact with them either. Another Black Pearl and Elazul scene. Yes, and Sabera's right. The reason Drowsy looks like a tapir is to build into that same mythos. Anyway, this is a fine time for donations or messages, as we're just mashing through this text.
Neat, I've been checking the donations and still got nothing. But let me see if I can... Got anything else? So, I will say, and more information about the charity that we're donating to with the funds from the event, take this. And basically, Take This exists to let people know that it's not okay to be okay. No one is alone in their struggles with mental health, and there is always hope for improvement, which is such an important and great message, and I'm really glad we're supporting this charity. Yeah,
I'm a big fan of mental health being part of it. I have mental health issues myself, and it's great to raise some visibility for that.
Yes.
Here's where Florina and Black Pearl argue. Right. And arg.
Whoa. And with that, the Jumis are falling.
No, she's not dead yet.
Oh.
She's just fainted in dream. All right, so here's Jewel Beast 4, the 4th of 7. All right, so this is the last kind of Jewel Beast. Dang it. Yes. ST, gross, and I don't have a counter ST. So which one is it? Beam or drill? Let's drill. All right. Just don't want to be too close. Nope, stop jumping. Stop jumping. Hit me. It's too close that time. This is why we can't have nice things. Because you will not attack me. Yeah, see, this is the bad luck when you're playing Counter-Strike, is just...
Yep. You're relying on
That said,
strike.
I'm going to get... You're relying on them to strike you within your timing. Thankfully, they set themselves up for blammo, so we'll take that. And if you would just attack me one more time when I can actually put up the Counter-Strike. Why didn't that go? Jerk. All right, I'm just going to kill it. All right. We'll go for as many jewels as we can try and skip. We'll see. All right. And that's Jewel Beast 4. The 4th Jewel Beast out of the 7 we fight, but it is the 4th type of Jewel Beast. We get a final cutscene in Dream, now that we have beaten all the bad bugs, as Belle called them. Something isn't quite right, you two Dream peoples. So yeah, this is not a literal event, right? Like it's a dream event. Right. And so now Florina can sleep again. Great. I'll be back if you ever have a nightmare.
Comforting.
Comforting. All right. That is Fluorite. We are to the last Jumi art quest. It is called Teardrop Crystal. But first, we have to go home to advance the Jumi quest line.
Home sweet home.
Home sweet home. All right. All right. Then we leave, and Jumi's advanced. So now we can now Boyd will be like, I haven't seen the Jewel people in forever, right? Like, I wonder if something happened to them. And if you tell him, nah, then you get to continue in the quest line.
What's happened to them at all? What are you talking about?
Yeah. All right. So we're going. You're not going to the bar for once in our lives. You're actually going to the church, where Boyd's hanging out. That couple Elzoom. I wonder if. No, I doubt it. Right. Oh, I have a favorite. I need to go to Geo and find a vacant building. A vacant building in Geo? They used to sell Jumi cores. I'm gonna go find that shop. Okay. Watch what Boyd says here. The door is rusted shut. It's wide open. Like, what is happening here? So you walk up to the open door. You manage to open it. You walk in. Boyd gets rejected. Now you're inside an abandoned jewelry shop. And then Pearl and Elza will come in after you. This place looks abandoned and nobody knows who Alex is. It's like time is warped. Right? And so they're like, hey, let's search the place for clues. I know where there's a clue. It's inside of this Pandora's box. Hey, Florina. Don't try to lessen my pain. Right, so in Tower of Liera, the second time, where like Black Pearl was trying to convince Pearl to give up her life to replace Florina, right? Where like the Black Pearl and the Pearl image, right? And it didn't take, right? Like Pearl was unwilling to do that. Is that what you gave Elazul? No, it belonged to an ancient tribe of nomads. That's not the Mana Sword. All right, and so now this is just a bunch of mashing through text as we finally learn what the heck Pearl and Black Pearl's kind of whole two bodies, one body, two minds thing is about. And Elazul says he found Pearl in the desert and he saw the Pearl change from black to white here. So this is Sandra and Black Pearl talking about the nature of Florina. Right, it's like, okay, if you've locked Florina away, we need a new Clarius. With our very survival comes the cost of life. Right, like, do we deserve to live? And Black Pearl's like, yes? And there we see them, we see Sandra card Black Pearl. And then Elazul finds Black Pearl, whose core changes from black to white there. And hence her memory problems.
Mm-hmm. Because she's essentially a split personality.
She is essentially a split personality. Pearl was born from your damaged core. You decided to shoulder, right? Like, you're talking about like you need another Clarius, right? Like, Black Pearl decided to be that Clarius as Pearl, right? Like, that's why she split personalities.
Okay.
Right. But she was not able to convince Pearl to go with it at this by this point in time. And so here they try and keep Elazul away, right? Like they're like, this is all the crimes of the past, right? Like Elazul, don't go to the Jewel City, take Black Pearl instead, right? And I'm gonna take Black Pearl even though it's slower because I like Black Pearl. It is slower because Pearl, the good thing is that Pearl doesn't interfere in the fights. She's always Black Pearl in fights, so she's good. But the downside is that every time she has to fight, she has to do that transition and then back. So like you lose time on taking Black Pearl, but I would rather take Black Pearl. Just because she's cooler. And the plot the plot is a little cooler as well with her there as the one confronting. All right. So yeah, this is slightly slower, but it's cooler to me.
I love Black Pearl, so I'm all for this.
Yeah. All right, and so now we leave Geo, and we're going to place that Jumi staff we just got from Florina, as long as we avoid the cafe, which would start that Gilbert quest. Ugh. All right. All right, so we're going to place our second to last artifact right on the water. And I'm gonna let this play because I like Jumi Arc.
That is so pretty.
It's super pretty. All of the little cutscenes are actually really cool. It's just that if you're doing a hard speed run and we could skip them now, like obviously skip. Right. Anyway, the Jeweled City. Let's head in. All right, so the entire puzzle of the Jeweled City is 3 games of Mastermind. You have access to 4 gems and you need to pick the right 2. Order doesn't matter. Then 6 and 3, and then 4 and 7. Right?
Yeah.
Too close. Get away. All right. So you'll see me go into these little nooks to get gems, and when we use the gems, we have to go back and get them. And that's where somebody in chat earlier was talking about jewel skips, right? Like where you can, if you can judiciously attempt to skip jewels in the hope you won't need them in later puzzles, specifically the last puzzle. And if you succeed, it's a time save, and if you don't, it's probably a time loss because you could have gotten it easier beforehand. So it's a gamble. I'll take any gamble the game's willing to give me. That's reasonable. All right, welcome to the first of 3 Sappho's Gates. In this area, they're all called Sappho's Gate, even though there's 3 of them. All right, it's Black Pearl. she rejoins the party, she makes her ping noise, and then, right, so Elza wouldn't have to do any of that. All right, here's Jewel Beast 5, which is a Jewel Beast. Here's Jewel Beast 5, which is a Jewel Beast 2. Just missed the counter strike there. Why are you trying to attack into the void? Face me! Face me!
Don't be a coward. Face me.
I thought I was gonna... That is actually the most damaging move it has, is that double push. But whatever. It's dead now. Doesn't matter where we end this because we're going to be teleported anyway. Black Pearl detransforms. All right. Okay. Okay, one of those is good. So we're going to have to get the other two and then check. This is a good blammo room, so all of these things have a reasonable amount of HP. So just murder them all. And here in these jewel rooms, like, we want to finish at the top. Right, so we want the jewel room to you know, finish at the top so we can quickly grab the jewel and leave. All right, and so there's the third gem on the bottom tier. Here's the fourth. All right, and then it's too close, too close. Ah.
That was rough.
Yeah, sometimes it happens.
Can't win them all.
More Elder Bows, yay. If only bow wasn't a really bad weapon class. It's got interesting tools, but it's never very strong. And the tools it gets are ultimately not unique enough to its class. All right, there we go. So we have to go back and get blue and red, which is the actual worst. Because red is the farthest away on the left and blue is the farthest away on the right. So we basically have to walk the entire bottom level again.
We're gonna be seeing, yep.
Yep.
So I like the comment from chat that says, fight this jewel beast. Now fight it again. Now fight it again. That's what this route is.
This is route, you know, like I said, there's 7 jewel beasts. So you fight a lot of jewel beasts on this route.
Yeah.
It is, the other categories all have much more unique boss layout, like, spreads. While, like, this one, it's mostly jewel beasts. Like, and the second to final boss and the final boss of the arc are also jewel beasts. They're not they are jewel beasts, but they are not that kind of jewel beast, right? Like, but they are a beast of jewels.
Now, is the Jumi route your favorite route, or
it is my favorite route? The music for the end plot sequence has always hit for me. Right, like, of the 3 arcs when I was first playing this game, it's the one that hit hardest. Right, and so, like, and the music hit hardest, and so that's always been my favorite. I mean, I've gotten a greater appreciation for Fairy. Dragon, still kind of mid for me. It's fine. Like, it's a classic RPG story. Whatever. Right? But yeah, I mean, I've gotten a great appreciation for Fairy. And Jumi is still the one I love the most. All right, 2 mummy apes here to get an amethyst.
But yeah, I've been noticing as I've been doing the hosting and through the playthrough, the music for this game is just wow, it's something else.
Yeah, the remaster got updates from Yoko Shimomura, right, who was the original composer. But they're light touch, by and large. If anything, they're really just deepening what was already there, rather than kind of like really redoing them. All right, second Sappho's Gate. Here we go. Jewel Beast 6, which is a Jewel Beast 3. The different Jewel Beasts have different elemental weaknesses, which is irrelevant for us in this category because we can't take advantage of that, really.
I think second and letting the
Stop
music play.
attacking to the right. It blocked instead of countered. Oh, my timing is just so bad. There we go. All right. It didn't need touching, right? Like, if they hadn't remastered the music, this would still be great. But there are a few things where she really did put a little more weight on them, and it did improve them. The fairy storyline's music, right? Like, it was already good, but she really turned that one up. All right. Wow. None. All right, so it's yellow, red, and the one we don't have. All right.
Cool, but this puzzle is going to be difficult for us.
Yeah. All right. So this is the story of Fiona being kidnapped. Right, like that's Deanna. Right. Right. It's like they're all there, and then Fiora's gone, or Flora's gone. Florina's gone. Yeah, that's her name. All right. I would like to move someday. It'd be great. All right, that was pretty clean. There's our aquamarine. So we're gonna go back, put the aquamarine in the thing, open the door, and then we're gonna have to go back. Because right now, after that, we'll only have... No, we can skip from that, right? Like, we can attempt to do the full skip, right? And for the fans, we will. We need the aquamarine there. That one. They changed the shapes. In the original, they were not shaped, just colored. They changed the shapes in the remaster to provide you more visual cue. All right, here is a pseudo boss. He certainly has a boss's HP. He has a lot of moves, and he has STs.
He's so tiny and cute, though.
Yeah, you can actually get a pet that is a machine golem. You can build it yourself.
Cute.
Yeah, it's pretty cute. Ugh. Just stop being a jerk and let me hit you. I'm gonna hope that this hits. All right, there, it's dead. 'Cause yeah, sometimes it gets a good chance to juggle you, and we hate it. All right. This is the second. Both of these cutscenes here are required, even though you can avoid them. All right, so here we see Esmeralda's black story. Esmeralda wants to learn magic, right? And then her three sisters go off as knights, right? Like Elazul's role, right? I'm a guardian, but I can't cry. That I want to be a knight like Lady Black Pearl. Yeah, Esmeralda didn't learn the exact reason why things were happening. All right, Sappho's Gate number 3. This is the last Jewel Beast, the 7th of them, which is a Jewel Beast 4. All right, let's try and get a cleaner fight than the last two. You can do it, Jewel Beast. Just let yourself be counter-struck repeatedly. Back up. Okay. Why did it block instead of counter? I hate that. ST. Didn't quite get to it. All right. Good timing. There we go. Thank you for the last hit, Black Pearl. Black Pearl does good work. Okay. Doesn't matter where we end. All right. Here we see if we can do the full 4. It's not particularly likely, but technically the 4 gems we have could be the 4 gems of the solution. Only 2. Well, that sucks. All right. Back down we go.
Thing.
Okay, so we need, yeah, red, yellow, and aquamarine. And since we require 2, we're gonna need, I'm not gonna skip one of them and hope. I'm gonna get all 3. At that point, that would just be exceptionally greedy. Alright. Alright, so red is... this is still going around to Sapphire's... No, that's right. Okay. Red is to the right, and yellow is 2 to the left. But which actually makes it so that this is yellow here. Like, the gamble is just too high, because if it fails, I'll have to run all the way back up to try it, and then all the way back down. Right? It's just, there's so much of so much gamble in that it's just not worth it when I'm already 3 screens away from it. Right? Just kind of like, past blue. Surely red won't be needed. Surely. I mean, you can tell me so if we find out that we didn't need it. Otherwise, but it's just, at this time, the gamble is just very high. Not that I don't love gambling, but it's kind of foolish. Where at least the 4 gamble, if it hits, actually pays off a lot. Right? Like... And then another classic gamble is to skip diamond instead, get the 6 and ignore diamond. And if diamond's not a part of it, you get that. So, like, that's another classic gem skip, right? Like, is to try and skip diamond, because it has the worst fight, right? Yeah. Like, it has that golem fight, right? Like, so skip diamond, right? Like, you know, the other fights are honestly easy, right? Like, it's a little more walking, but if you could skip the diamond fight, I mean, that's time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I'm fine. Like, I'm fine with gambling, taking any good gambles you give me, but it's not a good gamble to have to get one other on the bottom tier and be like, nah,
Yeah, I follow.
It's just not, the odds are not good.
It's just not worth the investment.
Yeah, and it's hard to get to, right? So, like, right, so we need to find which one it is. All right, does need red. Oh, it needed the one that it was when I did that, which was diamond. Yeah, nope. Aquamarine? Nope. So it did need yellow and green. Yep. So, there we go. All right. Yep. We needed red. Yep. We needed red and diamond. So there was no skip that was ever going to happen. That was any good. All right. All right. This is the climax of Jumi arc. So this is Alex, the person who was selling jewels in that gem shop that was keeping Florina in the Pandora's box. And then they both show that, yeah, actually, like, Alex is Alexandrite, as is Sandra. Alexandrite.
Oh.
So
Nice.
the name pun foreshadows that Alexandra, the gem, is contained by Alex and Sandra. And then obviously Pearl changes into Black Pearl for the fight. We find out that this guy is a black hole that loves jewels. And then Pearl actually gets mad. Like, she's like, that was my night. Right? Like, Black Pearl actually gets mad for Elazul being ganked there and being eaten. Right? Which is a very interesting character thing for her, right? Like,
Yeah. Like, she still has a soft spot for him.
yeah. Teleports. This boss has a lot of ways to waste your time. Teleports being one of them. He has a shield that works, right? Like, you can see his blocks happening there. Really? You just kind of burn him down and hope he never STs? A teleport is not good, but no STs is better. So, this is on the positive side of variance, at least. All right, we pick up the last experience crystals for this quest line. And then, for the last jewel that the Lord of Jewels... That was Lord of Jewels 999. Sandra gives up her core. Alex gives up their core to be the 1000th, right? Like, they were hoping it would be you, or it would be Black Pearl, but she would rather get Florina healed than live. And so this is the final boss of Jumi arc, the Space Whale.
Space Whale.
You can see it has a face on the front too.
That
like
is,
I said, like it's just.
That looks like something
it's just
from Metroid.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's another, right? It's another jewel beast, right? Like just different shape. All right, no STs, no dodges. That was a good clean kill.
Yeah.
I'll take that every time. No, the big whale is best. You'll never convince me the big whale is not best. And in the Chocobo's dungeon remake, we get the big whale theme for the final airship travel. Oh, it's so good in that too. Oh God. Oh yeah, the big whale theme in that one. And this is a hands-free cutscene. All 3 of the arcs end that way. And so yeah, like we were warned, don't shed tears for the Jumi, and our character is moved by the fact that there's only 2 Jumi left here. And so we turn to stone. And the crystal teardrop brings them all back, even ones we never met. Like you could see people in the style, like we've met somebody their shape, but never them.
That color.
When your concern for others transcends societal boundaries, a teardrop crystal is made.
I'm really touched.
Yes,
I'm actually tearing up a little.
Exactly. Like that's it. That's why this one stuck with me. Like it's always been that frisson moment from the music, that tearing up thing. Like this is the one that always hit for me, even back in 2000. Right? Like this was it. Right? Like this is why Jumi is my category. Right? Like it's my first category. And yes, Soul Blade is right. The last boss music for Irwin in Reflection is an absolute bass fest. It's a machine gun underneath the top line, right? Like just the drums are savage, right? Like just absolute driving, banging music for the fairy boss line. It's always been that way. But the fairy boss, this music here, the Crystal Tears music you heard there, right? Like the fairy version of that got tuned up a ton, and it makes that Star-Crossed Lovers plotline at the end really hit hard. When the guide walks away from her, it's just like you're just like praying that like break guy, like come, and it just doesn't happen. So yeah, we see the storm, right? Like, and now this is why we needed Bud and Lisa, right? Like, and they're like, they're like. Because right now we're stone, right? Like it's like they're doing the exposition, right? As people who aren't Jumi, right? Like they're talking about the Jumi, right? Perhaps the Pearl Girl is crying, right? Like they don't know. They're children and they don't know anything about Jumi, right? Except that you can't heal them with potions. So yeah, they're just up in the attic. You can't get to this room in your house. Or maybe it's the Lapis Lazuli guy. Ziggy's late. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you keep them up to date, right? Like, do you like text them or something? Like, did you go to the city and go like, hey, yeah, I'm going to solve this city in like, 4 hours. I'll be back tonight, right? Like, I don't know how that worked. But yeah, you can't reach that attic, even though it's in your house. Where do Bud and Lisa sleep? I don't know. You can't access a room that has other beds in your house. Like... You can get a penguin and her child in your house. Where do they sleep? You don't know that either. All right, so we get a little Aurora Borealis. This game has some kind of like Norwegian themes. The opening song's actually in Swedish, not Japanese as you would expect, or a conlang. I know actually, like the opening song is in Swedish, right? So there are little kind of Nordic, vibes throughout the game that you'll see that kind of correspond with that, as well as the Mesoamerican vibes. But this is it. These are the only words you say unprompted in the game. Right, and you see like Elazul and Pearl are acting kind of like a tragedy has happened, right? Right, and then after a moment or 3, right, like, I'm back! With the pause and back. And those were the words that announced to us that the remaster was happening. Like, it was just like, all in black, it just says, I'm back. And you're just like, what?
That was
beautiful. It all ended in tears. I'm Steam. Steve has achievements. Fonus has mentioned platinum percent previously. All right, so now, yeah, I'm back. Right, like in PSX, it was actually like a long A, not a pause there. But all right, so we have to do the home bounce one more time to advance the Legend of Mana quest of giving, or rather the of spheres. So here in this quest, there's a long conversation. That I would love to watch if we have time. That kind of puts anything in a pin, but we probably don't have time. If we do have time, somebody tell me. Otherwise, I'm going to be skipping it as normal. If you say we have time, then we have time for like a 2-minute conversation. We did already beat Lord of Jewels, right? So the saplings say that like one of them is fainted, and that's going to restore the mana tree, and tells the cactus that he's part of the roots of the world as well. And then we see these leaves trailing off again. Like the last time we saw a sproutling kind of run off. Takes us in here. And then we are, you know, the circle guy, Nunzak, trapped the sproutling in dreams. You know, and like he knows what the danger is here. All right. Would I like to join us? I kind of would, but I didn't get clearance, so we're not going to. And now, if you follow him in, you still hear half the conversation despite saying no. You have to leave the screen and come back to skip the other half of the conversation. And so Nunzak summarizes, for what purpose do the world and our lives exist, right? Is it to be safe, or is it to take risks, right? Like, is essentially the argument between the two, right? Like, right, like, is the poet there, right, like, is basically like, you know, like, yes, like, you can guarantee safety, but is that living? Right? Like, and Nunzak changes his mind on that. He lets us into the dream trap, right? We're back in, you know, dream sepia again, right?
Yeah.
So he that changes his mind on it. Like, he really, Nunzak really respects Pokio, right? And Pokio just kind of, like, drops the truth bombs on him, and eventually he yields, right? And so now we go into the dream trap and get the sproutling back. But yeah, that is the core question, right? Like, ultimately with Legend of Mana is, do you choose safety, right? Like, no risk, no fear, or do you choose, right? Like, do you choose a life of freedom, right? Like, where things can be hard, but they can also be glorious.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And then, yeah, like the end of Jumi arc literally is just like radical love, right? Like your love for the people of an entire genocided race brings them back when nothing else could, right? Like, it's just like the most radical of love, right? Transcending our societal boundaries, caring for others that are not you or your kind, right? Like, is the crux of the Jumi arc, your main character doing that, right? So like, those are both two big hitters, right? Like in terms of concepts, right? And then, yeah, like the fairy tree focuses more on that freedom angle, right? Like if you follow the fairy arc, right, like to the tree, right, it focuses more on the freedom angle. You get the Sword of Mana, and the sproutling grows a little dandelion-style puffball, and the Cage of Dreams ends, and we will place our last AF and do our last. So yeah, no, like it's also a reason I love running this in queer space marathons. I didn't press it in time, so we're going to see it, which isn't a bad thing. So you over the whole game, that tree of mana thing has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Like, and in the spiritual world, right? Like, and now we have opened its power, and the sproutlings have let us open the gate to the spiritual world, right? Like, where you'll hear about things like that in Trials of Mana and the new and Visions of Mana, right? Like about how the tree is in the spiritual world and such. Yeah, Racco's got a fine point on it too. You can see it as about corruption and rebirth, right? Like where the mana tree says, you know, want me, need me, right? Like your world is lacking. Yeah. Right? Like, and so you can see that as corruption in a sense, rather than just, right? Kind of,
now that I know how the whole thing plays out, I'm like, I gotta revisit everything about this game again, just see how it all builds up to that. Now that I know.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, it is, you know, it's a very SMT thing, right? Like if you're a Shin Megami Tensei fan, you will be familiar with the concept of, you know, order over chaos over neutrality, right? Where like this is very much an order versus chaos argument, and we are basically choosing chaos conceptually, right? Like we, you know, the power of the mana tree for good or for ill is better than living this, you know, as Racco puts it, corrupted, you know, shallow, right? Like, you know, lacking colors, so to speak, life. Right, like is the main argument, right? All right, so we're gonna avoid that fight and go up here, and that actually, you know, skipping a fight's always valuable. The fights on this tree are a mess because the geography's a mess. You can see how, right, like it's just a bunch of angles, and it's not necessarily clear how you can move. Here's the dragon fight. We're hoping we don't get burned. That sucks.
Oof.
Still fine. Like, it's just going to drain our health, but it probably won't kill us unless he gets in some good hits. And I fail my cancels, but no, we got him. All right.
Got him.
Yeah. If you have a partner and you die, the partner can stay around long enough for you to revive. If you die by yourself, you have to restart the fight. Right, like... All right, so here's this. Here's the second find. We got a Garuda up here, and then a Gremlin down there. Not a Gremlin, whatever it's called. A Basilisk down there. So the two are separate, so we kind of just have to handle them separately. These are just light hits. You can do 3 of them, but rather than try and line it up for a heavy hit, just do that. We'll get to the exit. I'll let those crystals die because I missed them. And off we go. All right. All right, and you can, yes, you can get onto the tree here. No, it's not obvious. This is how we climb. We continue up here. We go through the hole. Now we're, you know, here is the only chocobo you see in this percent. Hi, chocobo.
Oh.
Bye, chocobo. You can get a chocobo as a pet if you have Final Fantasy VIII save data. I don't know if that works on Steam or on Switch, right? Like, because the Final Fantasy VIII remake exists, right? Right. I don't know if they come in. But yeah, all right. You can hear us. We're walking on mushrooms and thing. Gate to the Sanctuary. We are 4 fights from the final boss. There are 4. This is a 3x3 grid, and there are enemies at the corners. Right. So here is enemy pack 1. Gremlin and a big tree. The big tree drops the best wood in the game if you're lucky. We don't care. You would use that for tempering if you did. You can see our HP bar, right? Like, we're actually up through into green bar, right? Like, we've gone from just red through orange, through yellow to green, right? And if we had more HP, it would go to blue. Good. Again, these are very fighter game. Yep, an ox and another basilisk. The ox knows how to party. The ox has a attack that does good damage and also makes you unable to act for a few seconds. So they're more relevant in fairy category because there are more oxes there. Okay. Yeah, people in the chat are talking about those saves. So like Chocobo Racing gave you an item in PSX. Right, so here we're going to blammo because these are 2 of these are big piles of HP. And they have a little distance between them, so we're just gonna blammo the heck out of them, put them all in the dirt. Blammo, indeed. Dragon steak, yum yum yum. Okay. And then yeah, the final boss fight people are previewing for you. It's going to be it. We're going to attempt, the mana goddess is your size. So just like Black Pearl, right, like she is vulnerable to Counter-Strike if you can set them up. Right, so that is in fact the plan, right? That's part of why we choose the Counter-Strike path, is that we don't have to do a technical fight per se in the sense that you would with a one-handed weapon or something, but we do have to do a technical fight in the sense of landing Counter-Strikes. And so here's the Mana Goddess's final statement, right? Right, like the Mana Goddess is telling you, right, like she is good and she is evil, right? Like she is dark and she is night, right?
Yeah, very yin-yang.
Yeah. Right, and then we go over here to start the fight, because this, ideally, she hops down to us and then starts trying to hit us, and we counter-strike her. No luck there. We're just, nope, she's just bodying us. first ST. Unfortunate. All right, we got tree, so that's the big spin. There we go. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Game, that's time.
Yeah! GG!
Yep. Yeah, that first round wasn't great, but we still only got 1 ST. If she gets to Eclipse, you could see the moon progressing. She does a massive ST that takes a ton of time, right? So, like, you might get 2 or 3 STs on the way, but if she gets to Eclipse, you will lose just, like, a minute. Like,
yeah.
It's bad.
Oh,
and it's also highly damaging if you get hit by it. But, yep, that is Legend of Mana. Yeah, I mean, it's a... You know, she has a lot of HP, right? Like, she fights like a human, so, like, you could do a lot of different types of counterplay attempts, right? But you could see, like, she has multiple attacks, each of which kind of attack at a different range and angle, right? Like, that, right, like, can make it so that, like, in the first time, like, she hopped around my attempt to counter-strike her, right? Like she's playing, right? Like, in the kind of in the space of the brawler, right? So, yeah.
Whee.
All right, what do we get for a time?
Oh, it's... What?
I said the time when we killed the mana goddess. Did we not stop timer? That's fine. We can always retime it.
I didn't know there was a timer. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I don't know. Maybe Restream stopped it.
There we got it. Got it. It was 2, 11, and 47.
That's technically a PB for me.
Nice.
Even with all of the extra stuff, that's still technically a PB for me. That's good. My previous best was at RTA in Japan, where I was in a race and I was last at 212 something. So, and yes, we will use Counter-Strike in other categories when fighting humanoid enemies. It's like Counter-Strike is built, right, like in a brawler, right? Like your Counter-Strike is built to fight things that are your size, right? Like fighting things that are much larger than you, they don't necessarily do what you want.
Cooperate. Well,
But yeah, no, Counter-Strike's very good, especially if you use a hammer, right? And so that's like I said, that's the hammer route. Most powerful weapon for the strongest spins and the most Counter-Strike.
all right. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Legend of Mana. Next up, we have, I believe it's Landgreaser. So stick around for that one.
Yep. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all later this week for Virtual Highlight.
Heck yeah.